you very much for being here for our regular Sunday service. And, we heard our neighbors clapping along, and I think that's totally fine. Before, when I was a little child, it was like really annoying, and I used to get kind of upset. But these days, I'm like, if they want to clap, they can also receive divine blessings from Kami-sama. So, that was pretty funny. Well, anyways, I want to thank you for helping yesterday for the mochi pounding at the Japanese Culture Center. And thank you also for praying for us. It was a really successful event. And we did 3 batches of mochi, about an hour each. And I'm so glad that the weather was good because last night and this morning it was raining so heavily that Kami-sama really held up the rain for us, I think. So, and of course, we could never have done this without your help and your prayers. So I want to thank all of you for helping. And just this morning, at the in the Konko Mission of Wahiawa Instagram this morning, I received a message from one of the people who participated in the JCCH Mochitsuki demo, and she said, I had a fantastic first experience embracing my Japanese heritage and culture. The members of Konko Mission of Wahiawa were very friendly, knowledgeable in their craft, and helpful. Mahalo, Shiro-sama. Really, we're grateful for this participant. She had a wonderful time making mochi and that positive feedback. We really appreciate you. So we've been pounding mochi since 1992. I think I was only in 5th grade or something. So this year would be our 34th year making mochi. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. And we didn't even pause for 1 year. And not even the pandemic stopped us. And that was really unusual because pandemic, it was like stopping of all kinds of any kind of social gathering or whatsoever. But it didn't prevent us from stopping our function. And in fact, the reason for that is because the blessings of Kami-sama continue. And the pandemic was more like a thorn in the thumb. And it's just a tiny little thing comparing to the whole world. You know what I mean? So the pandemic was really painful and it was annoying. But the rest of the body was fine. There was no issues, right? Everything was business as usual. The sun rose, the sun set, the tides went in, the tides went out. It's like everything else was regular. It's just the pandemic. So basically it was like a thorn in the thumb. So, but we wanted to continue to give thanks for Kami-sama's blessings and not just focus on that sore thumb. Ne? And anyways, my parents, they're getting kind of old. But their spirit to continue the Mochitsuki is still very youthful. And they're so powerful and have so much energy. I don't know where to get their energy from, really, I don't know. And like my dad is all fired up for this season, and my mom's all fired up for this season, making unko day in and day out, non-stop. And this morning I said to Otosan and Okasa, gokurōsama deshita yesterday, otsukaresama. And Okasa, my mom says, no, not gokurōsama. Gokuro to motaru dekinai yo. Meaning, gokurōsama, there's really no translation for that word, gokurōsama. So it basically means you must have worked, you worked so hard, you went through so much hardship and suffering, you must be tired, thank you. So all that word is scrunched up into that one little word, gokurōsama. So my parents, they work hard, they work so hard, but the one thing that doesn't come out of their mouths is, tsukareta. But I'm more of that, oh man, so sore. So when they're doing goyo for Kami-sama, when they're doing anything, even Mochitsuki, you will not hear them say, tsukareta. And even if they may be tsukareta, they will not have that face on their look, because they don't want other people around them to feel like that. Because all you need is one complainer, and it's gonna ruin the energy. It's like throwing water on a flame. And people who are just so happy, it's gonna be like, oh man, I feel tired too now. So we can all enjoy the function because of that positive energy. And so I think that's so amazing that they can do that. And I'm also really thankful to Kami-sama, again, for the favorable weather and no one got hurt. And everybody made it everybody enjoyed a good time yesterday. And our whole team was so efficient, really efficient. It was a really great demo yesterday, and we have 6 more demos to go, including our Wahiawa Church Mochitsuki, which will be on the 30th. We're going to count 20 batches. So I asked my husband Clayton to pay extra attention to the rice steamer setup that my dad does always, because the next generation, they have to learn. Because one day, my dad, one day maybe he might not be able to do that anymore. So we the younger ones have to learn, carry on the tradition. And it's easy to start up something, but to maintain it for years and years and years is so difficult. And speaking of traditions, just last week, I tagged along my husband to his regular dentist appointment. And this time I noticed in the office there are a lot more patients coming out of the office area. I was like, how can that one dentist handle so many patients? And then in one of the treatment rooms, I saw a glimpse of a woman in pink scrubs. And I was like excited. I was like, I wonder if the dentist, if our dentist hired a new intern or something. But then in the back of my head, this wishful thinking was like, you know what? I really wish that was his daughter that came back, because the daughter is also a dentist in the mainland though. Lo and behold, it was the daughter that had come back. And so the dentist, our dentist, he came up to the waiting area just tell me that. He said, I have good news to tell you, and my daughter came back. And I was so happy for him, because he was, in the back of his head, he really loves dentistry, but he doesn't want to impose that on his daughter. He wants her to do her own thing. He doesn't want her to have any kind of pressure to take over the business. So if she decides that she wants to live in the mainland, she'll let her. He'll let her. And he even told me that he was maybe thinking of closing the business down, or even hiring one of his patients, who is, I guess he's a dentist. But he said, I'm so happy, because if it's my own family, if it's my own daughter, he can tell her anything. Like, go take out the trash. Or like, no, you're doing this wrong. Or it's easy to tell your own family what to do and how you can improve. If he hires somebody completely different, he says he cannot, even if he wants to say certain things, it's so difficult. So he's so thankful that it's his own daughter that decided to stay in Hawaii. And while Clayton was getting his teeth treatment done, he asked the daughter, so what made you want to come back and eventually take over your dad's dentistry office? And she said that her father was thinking of selling the office, but if he did that, it would most likely go corporate. It would become like a corporate dentistry. And all the patients her father took care of would be under that corporate dentistry. And she did not like the idea of soulless dentistry, or heartless, soulless dentistry. So she decided to come back to Hawaii for good, to keep that warm, family-oriented dentistry going. And that, the heart feels so warm inside. So when the dentist told me that her daughter was back for good, to help him out in the office, I was so happy. I started to cry. I can't hold back my tears, because, this is so amazing. Because I knew how much he cared about his profession. And when he does his job, he does it with so much heart and care. And because I hated dentists because of my really bad childhood experiences. I had so much trauma and PTSD, but he totally made that trust come back to me, and he provides the best care he can. So gentle, so amazing. And thanks to my husband, who originally forced me to go there because something was wrong with my teeth. And he said, Emma, you gotta go. What if it turned into a bad infection? And I said, oh no, I don't like that idea too. And I don't like dentists. And he said, no, you should go, because this dentist is really good. So I was like, no, I don't want to go, but I have to go. And then I went, and he was like the most amazing dentist ever. So he made me a believer of his dentistry. So, what greater joy is there for a parent, right? To have their profession, who they feel so passionately and arigatai about, admired by their own children, to want to continue that path. So I was super happy for my dentist and their family, because his wife is also the receptionist at the dentist. So it's a really family-oriented dentistry office. So has a lot of soul and heart to it. And that's the kind of church I want to maintain here as well. It kind of like paralleled, like father-daughter kind of thing. And when I was younger, I wanted to have a mega church. I wanted this church to become like a mega church, like Joel Osteen. Thousands of followers just overflowing. But as I got older, I was like, we don't need a huge church with thousands and thousands of followers. It'll become too corporate, too complicated. So I wanted to maintain that a nice, warm, quaint, family-style church. And I wanted to value the quality over the quantity. So I'm really thankful for this church and the supporters and members who continue to support this church and each other. And I love the church very, very much, and all the members. I love you guys all very, very much. And I would like to continue this church tradition for as long as Kami-sama allows me to. So I continue to ask everyone for your support. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you again. As in the mentioned, we enjoy which founding of JCCH. Actually, I just try to pass on the enjoyment, watch making, what I enjoyed when I was very young. About 50 years ago, watch pounding machine was introduced. One of the neighbors said, mochi making by machine is okay, but pounding mochi with wusu and moto is much better, the best. So I just try to imitate that tradition. So at the very beginning, I made a wusu moto machine, bicycle too, using just based on mixing bowl and with cement inside. And that's a very primitive style of watch mode. And then now they quite improved with more perfection, very efficient. I just want to pass on the enjoyment of watching making. Something could happen to our engagement in the face practice. I want to pass on the enjoyment good relation or Konko Kyo to our children. So, in a sense, like the mochi making tradition we made in Hawaii, I want to, maybe I could be successful in passing on the tradition of Konko Kyo to our children. Although our children are very small, sometimes when I go to Japan, how many people attend your church? They are just a couple of 1,000 or so, but who could have maintained this tradition? There are 85 years, and they've been spending 48, almost half a century. Sometimes I wonder, what have I done in the past half a century? But only thing I can say, we could have successful in passing on the faith tradition to our children into some zeros judgment. So it could be fulfilling for as a Konko Mission. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Number one.
96, please, 96.
96. Page 96, number 4.
Number 4.
Ogiwara Sugi, number 4. Famous, moved by the words of the Ichigan-sama, realized that the faith we were practicing was not faith at all. He told Konko-sama, from now on, we will be single-hearted in this faith. You shouldn't decide on this faith so quickly. Return home and discuss it with your family, instructed Konko-sama. He added, there is one thing I must tell you. Sugi is a very
Spiteful
person who is always complaining. Complaints won't bring divine presence.
Hey, when Yukizo came here for the first time, and when he came yesterday and you came today, she said that she's going to the Hirma She said that going to the Hirma was unnecessary. Hence, she probably complains day and night about everything. He cited many of my complaints without error. This is why she is ill and doesn't get better. Go home and tell her this. If she comes to realize from the bottom of her heart how ill-natured she has been, decide with your family as to which faith to practice in. There will surely be divine blessings. If Sugi realizes her ill nature and decides to receive divine blessings from this faith, come here again, Konko-sama directed.
Number 5, filled with gratitude, Toyomatsu hurried home and came to my bedside to tell me everything Konko-sama had told him. I answered, yes, it's all true. I have been wrong. I had an ill-natured character and disrespectful heart. Yet my suffering was really minimal. I was selfish and complained about everything. I have been a worthless person who should have been thoroughly punished. I must certainly reform my heart.
If you do so, there can be nothing more thankful. If Lord save our family, where should we practice faith? My husband asked. I answered, needless to say, we must practice faith in the Konko-sama who gave us these teachings. Kiso and Sato were listening nearby and shedding joyful tears. They said to us, since you feel that way, it would be best for you to practice faith in the Konko-sama of Otani.
Although she's not done yet.
We decided to receive divine blessings from Konko-sama of Otani.
The next day, Toyomatsu went to the Humai again, and before uttering a word, Konko-sama told him, I'm glad you came. This time you will receive divine blessing. Look forward to receiving the divine blessing in 3 weeks, even without you being here. Kami can see far and wide at a single glance. Practice faith at home and receive divine blessing. If you come here from afar, you won't be able to work a full day. It will cost money, and you will also need to make a boxer.
Toyomatsu returned home filled with gratitude beyond words. From there on, while worshipping day and night, we faced Otani and then our offer. In 16 days, I was able to raise my head. 5 days after that, I became as healthy as I was 2 years before.